All right, welcome back to the Messy Garage. Let's try the Pro Eagle out for the first time. All right, on top of having a piece of crap driveway, all these pebbles, the family Mazda, which my son drives, is pretty low and hard to jack up. So one of the things I really am very excited about with the Pro Eagle is just how short it is at the front. So I don't know why the 2012 Mazda 3 is so low and hard to get to. It's not a sporty model, but it is tight. So let's see how the Pro Eagle does with that. So what we're aiming for here is that little box piece right here. And this isn't nearly as low as the front. To get to the front subframe piece, I can't even point at it right now, but as you can see, it's not really that far off the driveway. And this is, again, not a lower car, it's a base model. So that end is the one that's hard to get up and do stuff on. This shouldn't be too bad, so let's get it done. All right, sorry about the traffic noise. One thing I will say is because you don't have swivels back here, that handle doesn't lock like the competitor's model does, and I'll do a heads up on the competitor later, or at least the one I have. You do have to navigate this a little different than you would a traditional floor jack, although I guess technically it's an off-road jack. Yeah, let's get the car up. All right, so that's nice and high off the ground. Easily clearing the jack stand over here. The problem I've got is I don't really love that placement. So what I'm gonna do is use the jack lock as a backup because it's not great on that side, and I would say it's legit sketchy on this side in terms of how I'm gonna have to line it up. So I'm gonna use the jack lock in there as backup. So one of the reasons I already like the Pro Eagle is it's gonna let me use these jack stands as opposed to my much smaller aluminum travel stands. And that's a good thing. I like the extra height. I'm getting old. So having the extra height up here is a very good thing. And having the jack lock as a backup does not hurt my feelings at all either. Especially on this weirdo driveway. All right, let's get everything put down. All right. It's a two-handed operation, but let's deploy the jack lock. All right, so that's about as safe as this pebbly piece of junk can offer. Let's get to work. All right, we're done. Greater than expected complexity on the repair job, but the Pro Eagle Abrams worked great. I have to admit the jack lock was a nice piece of security. So whether it's off-road or just binding on pebbles, this is the beauty. No problems. Where my regular jacks were genuinely terrifying. So that's it. Abrams is great. If you're interested in a compare versus the Badlands competitor, or at least the 1.5 ton, which I also own, let me know in the comments. Stay messy. You get used to the navigation